Hi there. My name is Dr. Tara Sky Golden. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I practice in Boulder, Colorado, and I have a specialty in gut health, nutrition, hormone balancing, and all kinds of digestive issues and weight loss as well. And I wanted to talk today about food freedom and freedom to heal. I hosted an online course called Freedom to Heal, and it is about being able to stick with your nutrition plan so that your body can heal. And sometimes people get nutrition plans that, for a while have a somewhat of a restricted diet. Maybe they don't eat sugar. Maybe they don't eat gluten. Maybe they have to be on a low FODMAPs diet, fermentable carbohydrate diet, so that some of their gut health symptoms are alleviated. So there's a lot there's some restriction in all of that. And, and then there's the concept of food freedom. Like, because a lot of people, there's a lot of people with eating disorders out there. So people are like, well, if I restrict carbs, if I have to restrict my eating, that's going to just spiral me into my eating disorder, which I've been working for years to recover from. So it can get very complicated. Yes, sometimes you have to restrict the diet for the body to heal. However, if there's a history of disordered eating in your life, sometimes the healthiest thing is to be able to eat without restriction. And, it's true, you might not be able to do the anti-candida diet. You might not be able to do the low fermentable carbohydrates diet for like SIBO. Going gluten-free might bring up all kinds of issues. And then sometimes it's a matter of deciding what is the healthiest thing for me right now, or in my case where I treat a lot of people, I think, what is the healthiest thing for that person right now? It might not be to go on a restricted diet. That might just trigger the heck out of them, and send them down a spiral of, their disorder. And that's never what I want to do. And it gets tricky. Sometimes there are diabetics in my practice who really need to cut the sugar out and cut a lot of the carbs out. And basically their physical health is a manifestation of what they've, the habits that they've had for many, many, many years. Sometimes diabetes comes from an autoimmune disease. I'm talking mostly about not type 1, but type 2 diabetes, where, it's definitely diet and lifestyle related. So, there's medications to control that. And sometimes if a person cannot do the food restriction in any way without triggering the disorder, maybe they do need to lean more on the medications than, having the body heal itself. So it gets kind of like complicated. It gets tricky. It gets nuanced. And every time I work with somebody, I really try to take a nuanced approach about what is the healthiest thing for that person to do in the moment. I can hand out diets, restrictive diets, all day, all night, day, night, constantly. And if that person's in a good mental space and they don't have a history of disordered eating, it's often, food is your best medicine. If you can intervene in the nutritional level, that is the best. But I recognize that some people cannot do that. It brings up, too much, of a disorder, their old eating disorder or their current eating disorder. And, where the main thing that they struggle with is they have to heal. They have to, if they've been have a history of anorexia, they need to put weight on in a healthy way and not obsess about every little thing that they're putting in their mouth. They need to let it go for a while. They need to, maybe eat the, what a lot of us think of as junk food. Hopefully they're choosing more nutrient dense foods. That's always my hope. That's always what I hope people, want people, my patients, my population to do. However, they're not always going to be in a place where they can do that. And a lot of people say, well, if you're restricting fermentable carbohydrates and you're not eating gluten and you're not eating dairy, isn't that a form of orthorexia? And orthorexia is, I think that term is used a bit broadly, like, oh, you're not eating gluten, you're you have orthorexia. I think, no, if you have celiac, you really can't eat gluten. If you're gluten intolerant and you get a migraine every time you eat gluten, you really can't go around eating gluten and feel well. So I think orthorexia is often misused for people who are, using food as their medicine. However, in my practice, and I've been doing this for over 30 years now, I have seen some true orthorexics. I have seen some people, that wouldn't even take a SIBO test, and drink, because the prep involved eating white rice, and they're like, oh, that's so bad for me, So I have seen people be extreme in their, their food stuff. So it does get tricky. It's nuanced. This is nuanced stuff that we're talking about. So, and when someone has a history of an eating disorder, the healthiest thing might be for them to lean more on the pharmaceutical end of things rather than trying to heal it through nutrition, just because we don't want to trigger them. We do not want to go down that road that they've worked, clawed their way out of, to get to healthy weight, to get, so that they have a healthy body image. So food freedom versus freedom to heal, it really depends where you are. And eventually what I like to see is that somebody is so healed within themselves that, they can make intelligent choices about what, food and nutrition, and it's not coming from a disordered place. So anyway, that's my take on food freedom versus freedom to heal. But I do have an online course for those who, would like to work with their body in a nutritional way. Maybe they need to, get their diabetes blood work numbers, the A1C, under control, and they don't want to be taking so much medication. They don't want to have to inject themselves, and there is the option. They're still at a place where they can regain some function of their pancreas back. They can do, but they have trouble sticking with a food plan. Or even if people who just want to eat better and eat healthier on a more sustained, ongoing way, and there's something getting in the way. My online course opens up February 24th, and I hope to see some of you there. And you can always reach out and schedule a free 15-minute phone consult through my website to see if it's a good fit for you. Anyway, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.